welcome to episode number 80. Yes, episode number 80. Cheers. I have reached another milestone. I am coming to you Monday morning, April 13th, I think. April, oh my gosh, it's May. Craziness. May 13th, I'm pretty sure. It's a Monday morning. It is about 11 o'clock, just after 11 o'clock. And I'm coming to you from Cross Plains, Wisconsin, which is just outside of Madison. It is a very sunny day today. It's still a little chilly. It's only in the low 50s, but it's sunny and bright and feels good to see a little bit of that sunshine. We've had quite a few rainy days and cold. It's been a very cold spring, so I'm kind of looking forward to maybe some 60-degree weather here coming up in a few days. I think we're supposed to get a little warmer here in the Midwest, but yeah, just taking it one day at a time and appreciating the sunshine when we can. I am drinking a cup of coffee, black coffee, which is my preferred hot beverage, no matter what time of year it is. And yeah, this is cup number 2, I think, 2.5, something like that. I did get a chance to sleep in this morning, but I haven't been too productive yet today. I'm hoping to change that, getting the podcast done and then edit that and maybe do some housework and of course knitting. I did do a little bit of knitting this morning already, so I guess I'm onto a good start with that. But yeah, I really don't have much else to say in terms of life stuff. Yesterday was Mother's Day here in the US, and I got to see my mom for a couple hours, which was fun. We all got together at my sister's house, so yeah, that was fun. I got to see my nephew, and we had dinner. Yeah, it was just a really nice evening. We, what else have we been doing? Just work. Yeah, that's pretty much it. The last 2 weeks have been, just kind of normal, nothing too exciting happening. So I have been doing quite a bit of knitting though, so let's jump right into that. I have a feeling that today is going to be a little bit shorter just because I've been pretty monogamous with my knitting over the last 2 weeks, and I do have a couple FOs to show you, and a little bit of, I did end up getting something, adding to my collection at the end of this past week. So I'll show you that as well. But first, let's talk about the work in progress that I have going. This sort of goes into FOs / half-finished objects, or as I prefer to say, a half-finished pair. And yes, it is socks, obviously. So first, let me show you what would make more sense? The finished one? Probably. Okay, let's just show you the finished one. I can make up my own rules, right? It's my podcast. So this is a new sock that I just started, I think a week ago. I just started it last Monday, and it flew off my needles. I had so much fun knitting it. This is a kind of new design. I'm definitely going to release this because it's just so fun. It's so potato chippy that I am halfway done with the second one, and I'm already thinking that I'll probably knit this pattern onto my next pair of socks as well. This is out of Hugh Loco's, hang on, I think I have the tag in here. I do, oh my gosh. Okay, this is Hugh Loco on her Phyllis sock base, which is 25.75. I don't know why I said it like that. 75.25 superwash merino and nylon, fingering weight. There's her tag. I'm sure all of you have heard of Hugh Loco. And this is her Twitter pated colorway. I bought this yarn last year when we did a trunk show with Hugh Loco. The garbage trucks are here, sorry. Apologies if you can hear the beeping. My windows are closed, that's just how loud it is. So anyway, I got this skein of yarn last year when Knit Circus did a trunk show with Hugh Loco, and I got a couple skeins of her yarn. This one sold me, the name sold me for this one. I liked the bright colors. Let me show you the ball of it. It's starting to kind of fall apart now and be all like squishy. But I liked the bright colors, the pinks and purples. I don't usually knit with like these kind of colors. I'm not a really girly color type person. I prefer blues and greens and browns, earth colors. But I was sold when I saw that it was called Twitter Pated. For those of you who don't know or aren't as familiar with Disney movies, that is a term from the movie Bambi, and it is the scene when Bambi and his friends have kind of like matured and it's springtime, and the owl, I'm just laughing thinking about this scene, the owl is telling them about this awful condition that comes over animals in the springtime, and they become Twitter pated. And he like puts the fear of God in them about this awful thing, and it's basically just like falling in love, like, you know, what happens to all the animals in the springtime. We all know about that, the birds and the bees. But so they're all like terrified that this is going to happen to them, and then slowly, one by one, each one gets like paired off with, they see a pretty lady in their various species. What an odd conversation to have on a knitting podcast. But yeah, so they become Twitter pated, and my friends and I in high school, we loved Disney movies. We continued to watch Disney movies even though we were, 16, 17, 18 years old. And I do continue to love Disney movies, so no apologies for that. When you're in high school and you're like crushing on boys and whatever, we would joke that we were Twitter pated. Me and my best friend, that was kind of our joke. So I saw this, I loved it, I needed to have it, and I decided, this was last fall when I got this yarn, and I decided that I would knit a pair of spring socks the next spring. So this has been the plan, and I finally was able to cast on last Monday. It hasn't, like I said, it's been super cold, so it hasn't really felt 100% like spring. Like, the buds are just coming out on the trees. That's how, the Midwest is always like that. May can still be quite chilly. So definitely getting to these in time for these to be my spring socks. So there it is, all knit up, those beautiful speckles. Oh, I just love that. And then I do have a slight texture on there, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see it because of the light. I'm going to maybe hold it up as close as I can without it completely blowing out, and maybe try a couple different angles, but you can kind of see, you can kind of see it there. So up the front of the top of the foot of the sock, I have these like crossed stitches, and those continue up, and then I have them all around the top of the leg. So I decided to do it the full circumference instead of just doing the top of the leg, or like the front part of the leg. So yeah, I love this like light texture. It's so mindless and easy. This is actually the same texture stitch that I came up with to put on my Show Some Love shawl, which is a design that I released the 27th of April, or I released it a couple days before that, but it was for LYS Day, the 27th of April, and it is currently on Ravelry as a purchase pattern. So I kind of was messing with some stitches to do for that, for the texture sections in that shawl, and I came up with this one. It's subtle enough that it's not gonna like detract from the other parts of the shawl, but it does give a little bit of like interest to those more stockinette sections. Obviously it's not pure stockinette because it has this little stitch pattern on it, but it doesn't detract from the lace sections that are in that shawl either. And then I was kind of just wanting a basic, almost vanilla sock to knit with this yarn. I was thinking about just going back to like a Hermione's Everyday, which I actually haven't knit in a while. I really liked knitting that pattern, and I haven't in a long time, but so I was thinking about that, and then I'm like, what if I added that sort of it's like a slip stitch cross stitch type thing. And I have it alternating, so it's not just all in one. I don't know if you probably can't see that, but so it kind of alternates. It's not just in like lines that go up, and I just really liked the way it looked. I liked how fun it was to knit, and like I said, I am almost done with the foot of sock number 2. Let's see, there you go. You can kind of see the subtle texture on the top of that. Yeah, that one. Nope, you can't do it. Can't see it there. Don't you just love bright lights like that? Just takes away all the definition. No, but they're useful. So yeah, this is sock number 2, almost done with the foot. I have a little ways to go. I do a fish lips kiss heel. I forgot to mention that. In my patterns, when I do sock patterns, I always write them toe up, because that is how I knit my socks. That's how I prefer to knit them. And unfortunately, I can't put the heel pattern for the fish lips kiss heel in my sock pattern. Copyright, all that stuff, I don't want to take away from the designer, obviously, because she already offers it for only $1 on Ravelry, and there's a lot of great information in that pattern. So if you do get one of my sock patterns and you see that I refer to the fish lips kiss heel, yeah, like I said, unfortunately I can't put all the directions in there, so you do have to refer to the other pattern. But you can always put in any type of heel you want. If you just want to do a short row heel with a gusset, feel free to do that. It's totally up in the air. You can also, it would look a tiny bit different because it would be like flip-flopped, but you can always do these sock patterns from the cuff down and then do like a heel flapping gusset. The stitch pattern itself, like I said, it doesn't really matter if it's going this way or this way, especially with this one. With my other sock pattern that I'm going to show you, I showed you last time as well, but I actually have a release date for that one now. So that one, it would kind of, you could still do it, but it would look significantly different. The cable wouldn't, but it would be the side sections that would look different on that one. But this, you could totally take and knit it cuff down, no problem. So yeah, so that's why, if you're confused about why there is no heel directions in my sock patterns, it's because I use the fish lips kiss heel. I think it's one of the best fitting heels I've ever used and worn, and I highly recommend it. And so that is why, I use it for my own socks. And then because these are the ones that I knit for my patterns, then I refer to that in the pattern itself. That was a weird way of saying that. Okay, let's go back to this. So yes, almost done. I'm knitting these on size 1, US 1, which I believe is a 2.25 millimeter needle. And these are my Addy sock rockets, 40-inch. So I do only do one at a time. That's just the way I like to do them. I don't often get second sock syndrome, but I do have to kind of cast on right away, or else I will lose steam on them. So these I cast on like the day or two after I finished the first sock, and yeah, I'm still really, really enjoying them. The yarn is so soft. I am so excited to wear these. I probably won't be able to wear them very much, at least this year, but then come fall time, or this season I should say, come fall time, then I'll be able to get them out again and have a nice bright new pair of socks. So that is my only work in progress this week. I forgot to say, oh come on, sorry, I'm trying to fit it back in the bag, and I forgot to say what bag I had it in. This is my kitchen counter crafter bag, my cow bag. It's quickly becoming my favorite sock bag to use. I used it for my last pair of socks, and yeah, it's just so cute. I love it. Okay, so now let's talk about the FO that I have since last time we talked. This was a work in progress last time, and I forgot to grab the pattern, so I can't remember who the designer is. Oh, duh. No, it's not. Oh my gosh, I'm getting all my projects confused. So I was gonna say that this is Petite Knit, but this is not Petite Knit. I knit a sweater that I showed you last time. That was Petite Knit. That was the Anchor jacket, or Anchor's jacket. This is called the Olivia Ann, and it's the Olivia Ann dress. I can't remember the designer, but it is, I do have a project page for it, and if I remember to grab the pattern while I'm editing, I will put it at the bottom of the screen. But yeah, isn't it just the cutest thing? This is for my sister's friend, her college roommate, that is having her first baby girl, in June. And I really wanted to knit something for her because I, too, was friends with her when we were at college, even though they're a couple years older than me. And I had this beautiful BFL, 100% BFL yarn. Ooh, I got a little like snag or something there. Do you see that? I gotta tuck that in. Anyway, beautiful 100% BFL yarn that I was testing out for, hang on. I gotta wet my whistle. Okay. I was testing this out for the company I work for, which is Knit Circus Yarns, and we are hoping to add a BFL base. This is a fingering weight yarn to our lineup coming up here soon. We're currently kind of raising the money for that because it does take a lot of money to add a whole new line of yarn to your rotation, especially in the amounts that we dye. So we dye, I don't even know how much yarn we dye a week, but we have so much inventory. If you guys have ever been to the Knit Circus yarn store, that's all of our inventory that we have. It's a full store's worth pretty much of yarn, and we have so many colorways, and we like to have almost all of our colorways dyed up on each base that we carry. So we have to get I think we get up to 500 pounds of yarn at a time. That's kind of a normal order for us. So we are currently getting the money for that, and we're really excited because we all love this yarn. We ordered a little bit, you can order samples, of yarn bases. Those of you who have ever done this or you know a little bit about yarn dyeing, you know that they'll usually, send you a little bit, or you can order some in advance that you can try it out, see if you really want to invest in that. And so they dyed up a few skeins. My coworker Sherry is testing one out, and then I got to test this out. This is in the Sunshine on My Shoulders colorway. It's a speckle hand paint. So you can kind of see it's like a pink and yellow base and then some little pops of an ochre. I just thought it was really delicate and pretty for a little girl. And then that kind of lace top here. The one thing about this dress that I wasn't really expecting is how wide the skirt is, because you're taking stitches off of here, then you're casting a bunch on, and then you're increasing. You're almost doubling the amount of stitches down here when the skirt starts. So yeah, it's just a very wide skirt. Although I suppose with a baby, she's gonna have a diaper underneath it, and she's gonna be laying down most of the time. So it's not it's gonna get in her way or anything like that, because this is obviously for a small baby. I think I did the 3 to 6 month size, so she might outgrow it at some point soon after she's born. But yeah, I just thought it would be really cute for a little summer outfit, going to church or any sort of party or whatever that they're gonna take her to. So I do have to put a couple buttons on. I think I have to put 2 or 3. I can't tell what are buttonholes and what is just like an eyelet. I think actually there's only 2 buttonholes, so I have to find a couple cute buttons to put on there. I might have some in my stash. And yeah, and then I'm gonna wrap it up and give it to my sister. She's gonna go up, they live in Minnesota, so she's gonna go up and visit them and see her friend when the baby is born. So that will go along with her, and I'm just really glad to have that done. Don't have to stress about it. It's already blocked. I just have to weave in ends and put the buttons on, and then it's good to go. All right, so my next finished object, I feel weird showing these to you again because I did show them to you last time. So these are a pair of socks that I finished a few weeks ago. Again, I have trouble showing off the detail with the light because it just doesn't want to pick any of it up. But these are the Heading West socks, and it is a new design of mine. You can kind of see it has a cable that runs down the center, and then it has these like little tiny cables on the sides. And it was kind of inspired, so Seaver and I, my husband Seaver and I, are going to Colorado this summer. So we're planning this trip to Colorado, and we're getting really excited about it. We've been planning it for quite a few months now. It's going to be like our one vacation pretty much of the year, and yeah, so we have been talking about it, we've been planning, we've been booking things, and I had the West, or it's not like all the way to the West, not like the West Coast or anything, but I had the Western states in mind while I was thinking about this, and I just thought it would be fun to do, I don't know, to name it after that. So I like these. So these little cable things that kind of go back and forth. You can't really, oh, I wish you could see those better. They kind of remind me of like prairie grasses. So that's where that came in. And then this is kind of like the road, because we're taking a road trip. So we're not flying out there. We're going to drive. So this is like the road that's like going through the prairie grasses. So that was my thoughts behind it. I realized that I didn't really talk about the inspiration behind the design last time. I was just talking about the yarn, which is Knit Circus yarn, Sagebrush Cowgirl colorway, a matching gradient sock set, which is what Knit Circus does the best. And I wanted to show these to you again because I have a release date now, and it is going to be May 25th, I think is what I said. I just put this on Instagram as well. And it's the Saturday of Memorial Day weekend, so it's almost 2 weeks, a little less than 2 weeks from now, from when you're going to be watching this. So keep your eye out if you do like these. I will be posting more pictures of them. I have a couple friends that are test knitting them as well, so I'll hopefully be able to post their finished objects soon. And yeah, keep your eye out on Ravelry because they will be going live May 25th. The Heading West socks. Okay, we're cruising right along here. This is gonna be like, I'm only, 24 minutes in? Wow. So something kind of new. I don't talk about this very often. I don't talk about this very often because I have kind of gotten out of the habit of spinning on my spinning wheel. But lately so many podcast episodes ago, I'm guessing, it's probably only like 4, but I started the Night Shift shawl. Yes, I almost said cowl. The Night Shift shawl by Andrea Mowry. And in her pattern, she uses a worsted weight spin cycle yarn, which it's kind of reminiscent of handspun. It has like the barber poling ply, the 2 colors that are kind of plied together to create that sort of twist that color twist. And a really, really good substitute for that, if you don't want to purchase Spin Cycle, or if you can't afford Spin Cycle, is to use hand spun. Again, hand spun can be expensive as well, but if you're a spinner and you have a stash of hand spun, or you have fiber that you can spin up, it's a lot more economical. So I am one of those people that has a stash of hand spun yarn. I used to spin a lot. I learned how to spin. I was kind of doing the math yesterday because Grace of Babel's Traveling Yarns and Mina Phillip of the Knitting Expat are doing a spin and make along right now. And basically it's for spinners who, it's like to inspire spinners to spin for a purpose. If you have fiber, or if you're, purchasing fiber to get enough for a certain project, it's not required that you knit the project that you commit to. You don't get disqualified or something if you change your mind halfway through. But basically just to, get you thinking about projects that you can knit with your hand spun yarn. There's also a portion of it, I think the spin along goes until the end of July, but then after that they're doing the make along. So then you use your hand spun yarn to knit something, or if you're not a spinner, you can still get involved by knitting, crocheting, weaving, whatever, with hand spun yarn. So you can purchase that on Etsy or at fiber fairs or whatever. There are opportunities to buy hand spun yarn even if you're not a spinner. So anyway, I was thinking about, how long I've been spinning, and I learned about 7 years ago. So I graduated college in 2012, and while I was in college, and then for several years after, I worked at a yarn store in Winona, Minnesota called Yarnology. And I made some really amazing friends that I still am really good friends with today. And one of those was Lisa. She is a hand dyer. She has Abacus Dye Works, but she also used to do a lot of, she used to sell spinning wheels. She kind of got into wholesaling or buying or getting wholesale spinning wheels and selling them. She did a lot of fiber dyeing before she had Abacus Dye Works, her yarn dyeing business. So she, used to do a lot with fiber. She has a fiber farm with alpacas. She used to have a bunch of Angora rabbits, and now she only has alpaca and sheep. But she just got 10 more sheep this past fall or something like that. Anyway, she brought her equipment for a Spin in Public Day, and I believe Spin in Public Day is in the fall time. I also know that because it was football season, and you know how you have memories, and one thing is connected to another, which is connected to another memory and connected to another, so I can clearly remember the day I learned to spin, and and I remember it was football season. Don't ask me why. Anyway, so fall time, and I remember, sitting down at her wheel and her kind of explaining things and just feeling like I had done it my whole life, which was really cool. So I quickly became obsessed. After that, I dabbled a little bit with a drop spindle because I couldn't afford a spinning wheel. And then I think that Christmas, I was gifted a used spinning wheel, which was probably one of the most amazing gifts I've ever been given. And I was incredibly lucky to have the friends that I have and had at that point. They tracked down this beautiful Louette S10 single treadle wheel and gifted it to me, which was so sweet. So this is still the wheel that I use. And so for a few years after that, I spun and spun and spun and spun. I loved spinning. I still love spinning, but I kind of lost steam for a little while I think I was gaining such a stash of handspun yarn and not using it. It's just this culmination of things, and I maybe spun 3 times in the last 2 years. Anyway, all of that to say that I was inspired to sit back down at my wheel, at first to spin yarn for the night shift shawl, and then, so I spun a little bit of that, and then I let it sit for another few weeks, or a couple months, like I said. And then seeing Grace and Mina and watching their videos, it just kind of gave me that little bit of a nudge that I needed to sit back down at it. And I finished the half of the braid. So I had a braid of fiber that I split in half, and I had done about a quarter of it, like total. And then I sat back down and I finished up that one half. So I have half the braid still to do, but I can now I could take this off now, and I can show you the yarn. So this is the singles. This is my end. That's why it's all like fuzzy there. But so these are the singles, and this is a beautiful, beautiful braid of, I think it's merino. I don't think it's a blend. I think it's just merino. That was dyed by, it's a hand-dyed braid created by LCB. And I have a couple of her braids that I've spun, and yeah, I think I've knit with one of the other ones from her is in the night shift as well, that I've already started. So yeah, this looks very thin, but when I ply it, some of that twist will come out, and it will probably spin up to, I'm hoping the two combined will spin to about a worsted, maybe a DK, but I'm not too worried, even though the shawl calls for a worsted weight. I have one hand spun yarn that I think is a little bit thicker, and then they just kind of vary, and I really don't care. It's just gonna be a fun shawl that I get to, show off my hand spun yarn in. So yeah, it's really exciting. I spun, I think was it Saturday night? Yeah, Saturday night, because I was able to stay up late, because I didn't work on Sunday. And Saturday night I cranked this out. I did about a quarter of the braid, which took me about 2 hours, I would say, maybe a little more. And I just had a really, really good time. And I can't wait to spin more. And I'm so excited that I feel that way. I now really want to either get more fiber, because I don't really have too much more in my stash, besides a bunch of undyed fiber that I've collected through various places. And I want to try and dye that so I can, use it. But then also I'm really excited now about going to some fiber fairs coming up, and maybe getting some more roving and doing some more spinning. I also really want to knit with more of my hand spun. I am knitting the night shift, but I think, I'm going to try and just kind of go to that stash a little bit more. It's a little bit separated from my regular yarn, so I'm just going to kind of keep my hand spun in mind when I'm picking yarn for a project, or yeah, just remembering that I have all of that beautiful yarn that I've spun and taken the time and put the effort into creating. So yeah, it's really good and really positive, and I'm really excited about this make along, because it's given me the push I needed to get back to my spinning wheel. All right, so now I'm going to show you a couple of the things I've added to my collection last week. Number one, I kind of gave you a hint that I was most likely going to be coming to the next podcast episode with a skein of the Woolen Homestead. So the Woolen Homestead is an indie dyer. It's a husband and wife team from Michigan. It started with just her doing a podcast, and then her husband Ethan came on, and now they podcast together, although I think they're taking a bit of a break from podcasting and from dyeing yarn. So yeah, this this might be my last chance to get yarn from Tiffany and Ethan, and I am taking advantage of it. So this was the first skein I picked up. It might not be my last skein. I'm not making any promises, but this is called Hogsmeade Holiday, and it's on their Sturdy Sock Base, which is a fingering weight sock yarn. It is 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. I just love those colors in there. It's a lot more, like the base is a lot more yellowish. Like that's pretty true. When I bring it up here, it looks pretty bright, like white in here, but it's not. Yeah, so I love all those colors. And I've loved this colorway for a long time. They've been dyeing this one for quite a while. And when I saw that it was in the box for the trunk show, I got really, really happy. And yeah, so I had to bring this one home. Yeah, and it's especially meaningful now because if you guys follow Tiffany and Ethan, the Woolen Homestead account on Instagram, you would have seen that last week Tiffany got into a kayaking accident. It was really, like, I was messaging them about the trunk show and letting them know how it was going, and Ethan messaged me back and was like, just so you know, Tiffany got in this accident, and she's okay, but she's not able to really do any social media or anything like that. And basically, yeah, she flipped her kayak, got stuck underwater. It was apparently really scary. I can't even imagine. I get like chills and my heart starts beating really fast when I even think about that. And yeah, when he messaged me that, I was just like, yeah, I feel like, okay, I'm already like getting emotional. But I've been messaging with Tiffany on Instagram, and I've been watching her podcast for the last few years. We actually started our podcast around the same time, and my eyes are getting red. Great. I'm such a crier. But anyway, so we started our podcast around the same time. I have a few skeins of her yarn in my stash. I've just felt really connected to Tiffany. We have a lot of the same interests. And I don't know, I've used their yarn to design patterns, and I feel like I'm friends with them basically through the interwebs and through YouTube and Instagram. And then to hear, that she got into that accident, it could have been so much worse than it was, and just to be so thankful that, she's okay. It just made me really emotional. So Tiffany, if you're watching this, I'm really glad you're okay, and I hope you feel better. Don't lose hope, because she's still experiencing some difficulties from what happened. And yeah, just keep going. We're all here for you. And I can't wait to knit socks or something out of your gorgeous yarn. So thank you. So the next thing I got was this beautiful sock set that was dyed by Knit Circus. Let's see how... This has such a backstory that I feel like it would take me a while to explain it, but let me try and go for the short version. So the short version is that the Knit Circus store, is in the process of expanding, and I am the Knit Circus store manager, and I'm very excited about this new expansion. Basically, we were able to double the space that we have with a little bit of construction. We are in an area of, like, it's really hard to explain. So we're not just a storefront on a street, a single building. We are in a office complex. There's a lot of different businesses and offices in this big, sort of complex. So we were able to decide. There was a company that left the space directly behind our shop, and all that is separating that space from us is a wall. And we were approached by the landlord, and we also, we came to the landlord saying that, we were kind of interested in some of these open spaces that were coming available, and he kind of gave us the choice to either move to a different space in that office complex with a little bit more square footage, or to create more square footage. So we decided to stay in our current space to try and minimize confusion and do a little bit of construction to make our space larger. So we are going to be doubling the square footage we currently have, and adding some awesome things. We're in the middle of planning that as they get started with construction. So we're hoping to have everything, not everything done, but we're hoping to have the space and start to sort of, rearrange and create the store that we want by the beginning of June, which is only a month away. So things have been a little bit crazy at work lately, in a good way. But this special set, there's two skeins, not just one skein. This special set of our Lavish yarn, which is a discontinued base actually, but we had some left over that we made into these really special sock sets. These are going towards a fundraiser that we are calling Big Top Big Shop. We are Knit Circus, so we like to bring in that circus theme anytime we can, and we are dyeing some specialty colorways, exclusive, not going to be repeated, on some special bases like the Lavish, which has some cashmere in it, by the way, 20% cashmere. It's fantastic. And all of the proceeds from these special limited edition yarns are going to be going towards helping us with the expansion. So with the expansion comes, we will be paying more in rent. We have to pay for the takedown of the wall. They're replacing carpets. They're kind of, doing some more things in that other space to get it ready for us. So that's going to cost a lot of money. We also want to, like I said, we want to add some new bases because we are expanding. We want to get some more yarn in, and all of this, the bills are just a little bit more than what we were expecting to be paying, because this all came about in the last month. We did not expect to be expanding and doubling our space. We did not go into this year thinking that that would happen. So while it's fantastic and we're jumping on the chance to do it, we just need a little bit of extra help to get there. So we're offering these in our shop, both in the store and online. This is just one of 4 colorways. I don't know how many of them are left because we released them last Friday, but there will be more coming in every week until the 17th of June is when the fundraiser is ending. We also have mystery colorways available in the shop. So we're offering 4 different dye techniques of a mystery colorway that you can pre-order, and all of the proceeds for that is going towards our expansion. And then also there's an option to just do like a one-time gift. So if you are interested in getting a limited edition hand-dyed yarn, they're not all going to be sock sets, but these first ones are, this is called Hip Hip Hooray Speckles, and a one-of-a-kind semi-solid to go along with it. So I'll just show you that a little bit closer, because I don't know, in all my talking and flailing of the yarn, I don't know if I actually showed you the up-close color. So yeah, so that's exciting, and I had to get one of those. I waited until the end of the day Saturday, just because I didn't want to take one away from a customer, but since there were a few left of this colorway at the end of the day on Saturday, I decided to pick one up and buy it and take it home with me. So I am excited to knit socks out of that eventually. That it's a 70% merino, 20% cashmere, and 10% nylon. It's a really soft, fantastic base, and I haven't knit with it yet, so yeah, I'm excited about that. yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else to share with you about our expansion at work. Basically, we're just going to have a lot more room coming up, and when we host trunk shows and events and we want to host more classes and speakers and things like that, we're just going to have so much more room. Storage, we're going to have so much more storage. I'm so excited. But yeah, it does mean a lot of work, a lot of logistics to get figured out, a lot of promotion and advertisement and marketing, but it's going to be really, really cool for Knit Circus. So if you are in the area, we're doing our best to give you a really awesome experience yarn shopping. So yeah, stay tuned. I'll fill you in a little more when the project continues. But go to www.knitcircus.com if you want any of those special, exclusive, limited edition yarns. And otherwise, I think that's it for this week. So I kept it under an hour. I'm so proud of myself. I should be back in another 2 weeks. I think that's Memorial Day weekend, but I'm not really sure if I'm doing anything on that Monday. So yeah, I might be podcasting. Who knows? Otherwise, I think that's about it. I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much for watching. If you are a new viewer, thank you so much for giving my podcast a chance. If you would like to, you can give it a thumbs up or hit the subscribe button to be notified when a new episode of Driftless Knitting goes up on YouTube. If you are a returning viewer, thank you as always. I appreciate you guys for watching, for commenting, for just chatting with me about yarn. I love it, and I'm so excited for all the things I have going right now, and I can't wait to come back and fill you guys in on what I've been up to. So thank you. I will talk to you guys soon. Until then, do things that make your heart happy and be kind to one another. I love you all. Bye.